Happy birthday for this week, Ralph.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
How did you enjoy your day? What did you do?
Working. It was a little bit busy on my birthday, so it was a little bit earlier starting. Sorry. So it's never good. Thank you. What did I do? No, I think it was a little bit busy. When you have a Tuesday is always the day where you have a very busy day, and then it's not so much time to celebrate or to do something. But it's okay.
Any nice gifts? Any new waistcoats or ties?
No. Everything good. Some cake and not for me, hopefully.
You're looking good on the sidelines. Is there a time of the year when you stop wearing the waistcoat and tie?
Saturday I stopped wearing it because it's unfortunately maybe a little bit too hot.
Before we get into the Leeds game, Ralph, can I just ask you about Nathan Teller and where that particular one is?
Yeah, I think it's not 100% clear, but we are looking maybe for giving a chance to get more game time somewhere else, and we will see what happens.
He's up there in Lancashire finishing it off.
We will see what happens, but that is an opportunity.
You had a fans forum last night with 500 Saints fans. Did you enjoy that? And what was the toughest question?
There are no tough questions. They are all questions you have to take very serious and try to find the most serious answer. And this is what I did or tried to do. And I'm not the guy who's then afterwards looking on social media or what they are saying about it. But it's a pleasure for me always to speak to them and to explain them my thoughts. It's okay for me.
Very positive.
No, I think it is not about positive or negative. I think to realize the situation we are in, to realize the club you are in is very important. I think for every fan from Southampton Football Club, and for us is also important to hear what they are thinking about what we are doing. And it's good when you can put them some arguments what helps them to understand a little bit more what we are doing here.
Just ahead of the Leeds game, is there any early team news that you can let us know? Anyone definitely absent? Anyone potentially back in contention?
Oh, we had only Lianco during the week not training with the team because he had a problem with his knee, but the rest was in the sessions. And we had two good ones on Tuesday, Wednesday, and today was a little bit lighter. Not because only, after 2 days we tried to give it a little bit less intensity today.
How has training been this week, Ralph? Have the players needed lifting at all after last weekend?
Sure, we had a very detailed analysis of what happened on the weekend, and we know that we have to show a reaction against a team that we are facing now that is also very committed, very aggressive, expect a very intense game with high temperatures in the ground. So we have to be prepared for a tough one. And I think we are.
You mentioned Leeds United and the challenge that they will pose. Specifically, what are their key challenges and threats under Jesse Marsch?
Yeah, I think this is a very committed team with a very similar style to what we play. Sometimes the 4-2-2 is something that they have built up now, and you see all the behaviors, all the automatism that are necessary for being dangerous in this shape. They are there. Meanwhile, I think they've done a good job also in the summer to bring a few good new players in with RB history, I always call it, because they know what is about and to play in this bold-oriented pressing shape. So that definitely helps to get them on the front foot, and with a few other players back after long injury breaks, they are quite decent team.
Salisu is a young defender with great talent and an incredible prospect, but after an incident like the weekend with his unfortunate own goal, have you had to have a chat with him, put your arm around him, take him to one side?
Yeah, we all have made mistakes on the weekend, so we know that it was far away from being perfect, and this is what you need to have against Tottenham if you want to take something there. So it was important not to only to speak with him, to speak with everybody, to work with everybody. Yes, we have been intense on the pitch and also intense in individual meetings, but this is what we always do, and I'm sure that he will show a reaction on the weekend.
Only the second game of the season, but it feels like a really significant game.
Oh, I cannot remember on any games that are not significant for us. So this is the Premier League, and the Premier League gives you every weekend a massive challenge, and you know that you only have a chance if you perform on a very high level. So, and this is significant for everybody to push hard.
Jesse Marsch, obviously there is a Leipzig connection. Do you know him well? I know you've faced him once in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know him very well. We have met each other the first time when I was a manager in Leipzig, and he was coming for 1 or 2 days to visit us. So we had one time a game against each other, and it was a good draw, intense game. So we're looking forward to this game on the weekend.
Just two final ones from me. You've been linked with a number of players this week. I'm not going to go into them because you won't tell me. You've been linked with Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I know you're not going to tell me anything about that. But can I just ask you, one player potentially going out, which has received a lot of speculation, is Che Adams. The speculation of a season-long loan, potentially to the likes of an Everton or Leeds. Can you quash that?
Yeah, I can. Definitely nothing serious behind this, whatever you want to say, rumor or whatever. We are not on the way that we want to loan players like him to anywhere.
Absolutely, categorically rule out a season-long loan, but for any player, if the money is right, you would consider it. And Adams falls into that category as well.
I think we will never be a team that can put down offers in the right amount of money for any player. So this will never happen in this club. We had to sell our captain the first year, our best goal scorer in the second year. When we think the price is the right one for us, then we have always said that we are also a club that in the right moment also sells the players. But this will not happen now.
And very finally, you may be aware, you've been linked with Marseille's right back, Paul Lirola. Is he a player you know?
Is what?
Is he a player that you know?
I know the player, yeah.
You like him?
Nice try. I will not speak about any other players. There are so many good players out there. You can ask me about a lot of players that I like. But and I will not comment any rumors that are out there, and this doesn't help anybody.
On that note, Ralph, I wish you the very best of luck at the
Thanks
weekend.
a lot.
Thank you.
Good morning. Afternoon.
You again.
Yeah, I know. You're full of that.
Today you can ask the questions.
On the importance of Saturday, I just remember back to October and the first win of the season against Leeds, and what a great day that was, and it was sort of vindication for some really good performances in matches you hadn't won against some big teams. So this one's a really big opportunity, isn't it, to kickstart the season. It's a home game against a team that you can beat if you play well.
Yeah, we had last year the second game after the first loss against Everton, against Man United at home, and it was definitely a tough game, but we drawed there, and then we had, I think, 4 draws in a row, as I remember. So the good thing is a home game. So we could never start with a home game since I'm here. This was what I said. But now we have to grab the chance to play at home against Leeds and to take the first win. I think it is something of a chance that we all know, and we will go there.
What's the key to beating them? Because I noticed against Wolves and against you in the spring, Jesse Marsch might be a nice guy, but he's created quite a feisty, committed team, hasn't he, that will be in your face?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it is, I don't want to say easy to prepare, but it's very clear what you have to expect, and that makes the preparation, I think, in a certain way very clear for the guys, and because we know not only how it looks, also how it feels when you play against such a teams, because we have a lot of training sessions where you get the same feeling that you have no time to play the balls because there's a lot of pressure. that is good for preparing for this game, and we are ready for all that comes, and hopefully find the right answers for getting pressure everywhere on the pitch.
Bravery is something you mention quite regularly through a season. When your team are brave, they tend to play better. And against a high-pressing team, is that an important factor to be brave at home in front of your own fans?
I think important will be that we know about the percentage of successful build-up situations against such team. They are not very high, and that we have the support also from outside, that even if we try something, there is still support from outside and not the opposite. And this is, I think, what would help us massively, because this is, I think, the big difference since the pandemic is over, that you have also the pressure from the crowd in some moments, and you have to be really calm. And this is something of a different situation than in the training session, where you have also pressure, but nobody out there who is also putting pressure on you. So we have to be careful there, but in the end we have to be brave in the right moments, but also smart to play the right passes in the right moments.
Just finally from me, difficult selection for you this week after last Saturday? Is it a difficult one to get right?
It's never difficult when you look on the performances the players show you during the week, and especially after losing a game. For the players they haven't started, it's always a good chance to step back in the team if you train well during the week. And when you do this, then you have a good chance to do it.
Hi Ralph, I spoke to a couple of your younger players yesterday, and they seemed pretty down after the defeat last week. And I know you sort of said the squad were, but how did you sort of see it? Sum it up overall, perhaps, with a cooler head.
Yeah, that shows you that especially the younger players are willing to learn, but they have to learn that in some moments, even if you do a good job, it's not easy to win games in the Premier League. The Premier League is tough, and that doesn't mean that we want to get used to defeats, but in the end, it's also part of our business. And that's the reason why you have to build them up, to make them strong again. Things what we are doing here very often, lifting them, showing them the good things, the good habits, and keep on going. I mean, we have spoken about some young players that we have been glad with their performances. First step, not more, but a good fundament to build on. One
of them that I spoke to was Romeo. Obviously, he had started in the last game, and he received some pretty high praise. What are your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, I don't want to hang it too high, because I know his qualities, but I also, although we try to be positive with him, but also critical, because we want to make him a top class player, and therefore I think important for the young players is not to immediately get praise for okay performance, for a good performance maybe, but also be critical with the things that he has to make better. And what I really like on these young lads is that they seem to be very, very self-critical, and want to learn and want to have input all the time. And this is a very good character, I think, to get better, because when you think you are just a superstar or whatever, then it's hard to make them better.
I spoke to him and Armel, but they both said one of the reasons that they came, almost the exclusive reason, was when they found out that Southampton wanted them. The youth structure here, they said, is so good that that's one of the main reasons they wanted to come. And obviously, you're sort of the top at that, at the other end. So that must be quite positive for you to know that that's why young players want to come here.
Yeah, it seems that we have, especially for these players, very good chances to get them here. It seemed not only the last transfer window, but also in this transfer, that we are number one address, I think, for very talented young players, because they know not only that they get chances to play, but also that we invest a lot of work in making them better. And I think this is something for a young player that is, when you want to do it, then I think it is a big argument for them. Yes.
Lastly, you mentioned that you need the crowd with you in the game of the weekend. It's been different since COVID. Do you feel perhaps then they haven't always been with you, the home support, since the return?
No. This is. I think we are clear that we have very often at home to deliver it first before we get a support. And when sometimes some mistakes are happening, then it can turn the table very quickly. Yeah. So we have to be patient, but in the end, also supporting them what we can do is what we did in most of the games last season. I think we have, from the running stats, we have been the second highest in the Premier League. So putting effort in, putting the passion in, I think this is what we need to do all the time. The quality of the game will be depending very much on our solutions and our quality of the passes and the behaviors in tight spaces. But we have worked on this during the week, and hopefully we can see it on the weekend.
You mentioned last night about not wanting to throw Romeo Lavia into the team if it was a 4-2-2-2, because you said that kind of could be a bit overwhelming for him with all the different things going on, and instead the 3-5-2 was maybe a little bit more suited to him because he kind of adapt to it. Is that the same for players like Armel Bella-Kotchap and Sekou Mara, or is it different for Romeo because he's in the midfield and right in the middle of the pitch?
Yeah, for Romeo it was, I think, very important that he plays a holding six, because this is a position he always played in his career so far. And for the first game away against Tottenham, I think you have to not make it so easy as possible for him, but help him a little bit in finding a position where he feels comfortable in it. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't need to develop his game, and being also in a 4-2-2 as a double six an option for us. And this takes time a little bit, but we have worked this week also in this way, and I think like for all the other players, Sekou Mara you spoke about is also important, because the behaviors of the strikers is a different than in a lot of other clubs. I mean, there's not a big secret that our game starts when we don't have the ball, and that means that you have to start the pressing in the right moment, that you have to be online when the ball is not with you. So, and this is something that players have to learn, and the quicker they learn it, the quicker they are an option for me.
Similarly with Bella-Kotchap as well, he was obviously used to playing in the back four last season, so is that taking a bit of time for him to get used to that kind of three at the back?
Yes, but I think this is not a big problem, because we can also play back four, and in this case, it's good to have at the back that is. It's, I think, harder to play the other way around. When you always play the back five and then you go in the back four, is, I think, a little bit more difficult, because then the distances are longer. You have to slide more, and this is a little bit harder, I think.
Is that why having Jan Bednarak in the kind of middle role in that back three at the moment is important, to have him kind of organising and leading as well, the two on either side?
Yeah, this is a role that is maybe a little bit new for Jan this season, but I think he has shown this, and that he can do this, and I think it is the next step in his development.
Thanks, Ralph. Hi Ralph, just on Sekou, obviously he's left out last week. What's he been like this week? Has he got to grips with what you're asking of him?
Yeah, I still think he needs to learn a lot, but as always, when new young strikers are coming in, it takes a little bit of time. And I think we had some individual meetings together, and we must push him hard, because he has to learn a lot.
What differences do you see between Jesse and Bielsa? Because obviously both like to press, but do you see the slight differences in how they approach the game? Yeah,
the biggest difference is the man-oriented Bielsa pressing against the ball-oriented pressing they play now. And these are different behaviors in the end, both a very intense way to do it, and I think Jesse has got a team that fits very good to him, but if somebody knows about the weakness of the shape, then I think it's me, because we play it also very often and we know what hurts, and I think this is important for us to find the right moments to stress them.
Coming from the Red Bull group, do you feel that you can go toe-to-toe with Jesse in terms of playing the same style, perhaps similar formation as well?
I think it is definitely possible, yes.
And obviously after the Spurs game, you were quite defensive about the crossing techniques. You said that the team got smashed in wide areas. Is that something you've been working on this week, and do you feel that's perhaps a drawback of the 3-5-2 system, obviously having only a wing back and not a wing ahead of him?
Yeah, it's more about the behaviours in and around the box, and sure, this was a topic for this week, definitely, that this is not always easy to defend. We also have shown, because our first goal we scored was in the same style, as you remember, so it's a part of football what is always a 50-50 chance to score when you bring the balls good in the box and have a duel in these areas, and when you do it well, then it's always hard to defend.
So you gave Gavin the gloves as well last Saturday. What are the reasons behind choosing Gavin over Alex?
I think, as I spoke before the season, we signed him to become the future number one for us. We have with Alex a goalkeeper who has shown and who is proven in the Premier League, and who was long out with an injury. And we wanted to give Gavin, with his potential, immediately a chance to show up, to play. As I said, we have goalkeepers. We both trust them that they can play in the Premier League. In the moment, Gavin is our number one. He's going in the games, and I'm sure that he will have a big impact in this club in the future.
Just last, I know Roman's coming back to full fitness now, but is a full-back position still a position you'd like to strengthen in the window?
Yes.
Thanks, Jordan. Good afternoon, Ralph. The Carabao Cup second round draw was yesterday, and giving Cambridge United away. Their manager came out today and said that they couldn't have had a better draw. What are your first impressions of that match?
Why did he say that?
Just really wants to play, I think.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We're looking forward to this game, and yeah, it's I think a League One team, as I know, and we're going there with the clear target to come in the next round.
At this stage last season, you beat Newport County 8-0. It was a chance for some of the new players. Armando Broja played and scored twice. I think his first goals for the club. You spoke about Sekou there a minute ago. Is it a chance for someone like Sekou to come in and get used to the team?
Yes.
Can we expect to see him play in that game?
I don't know. It's still a few days until we play this game. So leave it with us, and we will see what happens until that moment. But the chance is.
Okay, I know you've said that Nathan Teller's loan was not finished yet, but it's a similar situation to Will Smallbone. It feels like he's somebody that you really like in the group, somebody that has a great attitude, but you feel that he just needs those minutes to play. Exactly.
Yeah. This is always the balance you have to find. You are fully convinced about this player, but cannot give him the chance to develop. And the most important thing in this age is that these guys are playing games every weekend, and this is the only chance to make them better, to bring them on a higher level. And this is not always possible, only with sessions and training. And this is why we decided to let him go.
You've got a big squad anyway, but with those sort of characters, Nathan and Will, so willing to learn, so willing to adapt to your ideas, do you miss those attitudes a little bit around the group? You know, are they guys that you miss when they don't come back until next season?
Hopefully not. We hopefully have more than only these two guys. They are willing to learn and willing to do a good job, and this should be normally the standard.
I just wanted to ask about Armel Bolakachap and Lianco as well. I know you mentioned now that Lianco is nursing a little bit of an injury, but are those guys going to have to be patient when they have their chances this season, because you've got 6 centre-backs to choose from? Yeah, and especially in the centre-back position, is it not so easy to step in, but yeah, as always, when you show up during the week, when you do a good job there, then especially when you haven't been successful the weekend before, it's always a chance to step back. So it's not perfect when you're not trained or are injured, but yeah, we have to grab the chances if you get them, and then show up. This is always a good idea to put pressure on me. And just finally from me, both you and Martin Semmens have been very clear about the Shea Adams links and all this, but in your experience as a Premier League manager, could a player be distracted by all that kind of media noise that comes out?
If you don't talk about it, not. Okay.